Hello everyone, this is Ben. I got my delicious apple. We're going to talk about sin again. I got my phone, my notes. You know, we have this thing called electronics today. You don't have to use paper. So, the lust of the eyes. You might read that in 1 John chapter 2 and think that it means lusting after someone the way they look. You like the way they look or something. That's not what it means. It means lusting for how other people see you. In other words, wanting people to see you or view you and have a certain opinion of you and idea about you in such a way that you just can't. You want to control that. You want to control how people see you. So you might say popularity, the pursuit of popularity, social status, fame, glory, that sort of thing. Alright, so I got some examples. My first example is myself. In the 8th grade, something happened to me that was completely life-altering from the way things were in the 7th grade. For me, I didn't really have a lot of friends because I didn't get to do anything outside of school. I just kind of just went to school. And I thought I wasn't good at talking to people or making friends, so I would try real hard to make friends. And I would be fake. I would pretend to be someone I wasn't so that people would like me. It's really as simple as that. There were 2 TV shows that I wasn't allowed to watch, and one was Beavis and Butthead, and the other was In Living Color. But every kid, that was the coolest TV show. So what I would do in the 7th grade, I would listen and to the jokes they were saying to one another from the show, and then go and pretend that I had watched the show and that I knew the jokes too. I want to be cool and accepted, liked. People think I'm great, think I'm funny, etc. After 7th grade, I became a Christian. And so in 8th grade, I had kind of like a crisis of conscience. And for me, the issue was, and I can remember very clearly, in the locker room, crying by myself. Because I knew I had to make a choice. And I really didn't want to give up this pursuit of popularity. But I knew that wasn't what I should do. Yes, that is a kitten wanting to come in here. We're going to hear kitten. Because now God was someone in my life, and all of a sudden it mattered what God thought. And you see, here's the thing. What if what God thinks of me and what people think of me are not the same thing? Because God's not fooled by any of my tricks, any of them. And you start thinking to yourself, well, if people, a lot of kids pick on other kids, and I got picked on a lot. And for example, I didn't have any friends. There was one kid that lived in my neighborhood named Johnny, and he went through some changes. He's not the same kid that he was. Who is? So, he lived in my neighborhood, so I could be friends with him because I could walk to his house. And but at school he wouldn't be my friend because it wasn't cool to be my friend. You see, I got picked on. But what happened in 8th grade is I had this realization. If God approves of you and thinks you're doing the right thing, then you are. And if people don't approve of you, at the same time, you're still doing the right thing, because God's the one who's not wrong about you. You shouldn't change who you are or anything about yourself, or pretend or change who you're pretending to be to please them, because God's the one who's right. It became such a big deal and such a transition in the way I saw things I literally stopped. I would get upset and more upset before that about people making fun of me, and I just stopped being upset about it, and people started coming up with, excuse me, nicknames for me that were more and more repulsive, and it got to the point in 8th grade where my nickname was like, everyone was so amazed that I just kind of didn't care. Like, if y'all want to call me this, I'm not going to try to control what you think or what comes out of your mouth. That's not my purpose. And if you want to say stupid things about me, you're just wrong. Why should I get upset or try to control you? You know? And my nickname became like a bodily function of a woman that is supposed to be repulsive and all this. And it wore out because people at first people were so amazed that I was just like, they can say whatever they want. You know, I'm not gonna be dramatic and make a fuss. You know, and it wore out because people got over it and just like, well, Ben just doesn't care. Ben didn't care. Y'all the ones who are dumb. Or maybe it's not dumb, maybe it's funny. Or if maybe you're criticizing me and you're right, then I thank you and I need to change. Anyway, it's a long example. Now this next example is requires you to go watch a video. I'm going to put a link on the screen for you to go watch this video. You have to go watch the video. This is my gift. This is incredible, what you're going to see in this video. Okay, I'm assuming you watched the video. Alright. So, what I wanted to ask you is, that guy in the video, what if, this is a hypothetical, okay, because I don't know the guy, but what if, we all know somebody kind of like that. He's like an extreme example, but what if his real passion in life and the thing that he really loves is bunny rabbits? And with all of his heart, he just really just loves bunny rabbits. He wants to have bunny rabbits around. He loves watching them hop. He wants to pet them and love them. He even likes cleaning out their cages, and he likes the different colors, and just his real passion for bunny rabbits. But see, like a lot of people, he does all this other stuff, this cool stuff that will make people like him type of stuff. You see, there's a temptation to do things and not admit who you really are so that people will like you, so you can have a certain persona. So this is the lust of the eyes. The things we do to control what people think of us. Alright? Here's another one. My brother started a while back, it's been a while, started playing this game, a video game on Facebook. It was on Facebook, and it had the Marvel comics, like the Hulk and, you know, Spider-Man and all that, X-Men characters, but it was a turn-based fighting game. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically the worst gameplay of all time. Like, you want to play a good game, play Halo or Mario, or games that are fun to play, not a turn-based fighting game. It's just like, this character, now attack, and you're waiting, and then eventually some points come up, damage level so-and-so, and you wait for the other guys, and then their team. It's terrible. I mean, it works in like Final Fantasy or something, or Super Nintendo, but why are you playing this? Let's face facts. The only reason he's playing this is because he thinks the Incredible Hulk and Doctor Strange and, you know, whoever, Fantastic Four, he thinks they're cool. He's interested in the characters. It's the characters that sell the game. If it was just Stan versus, and like man A versus man B, he wouldn't care at all, because the game itself, the gameplay is terrible. In Halo, I don't care who's in behind that mask. It's fun. I don't care if I'm an alien or Master Chief. Who cares? I'm shooting people. And the same way with Mario. I don't care if I got Mario, Luigi, Prince Peach. I'm jumping around, throwing stuff. I don't care. So my point is, I think we all can imagine a scenario where someone is playing that game solely for their inner nerd, but they're pretending that it's, or a game like that game. There's a lot of games that piggyback off fantasy worlds. The point is, they're playing it because they like superheroes and comic books, but they don't want to lose the cool points that come associated with not liking or not being into superheroes and comic books. So they play the game and just act like it's good gameplay. Like, no, it's not good gameplay. It's the worst game ever. This is the dumbest game ever. You like this game because you're a nerd, but you can't admit it. So you have to let your nerdiness out through this terrible game. Just buy comic books and read them. That's all you gotta do. You know, even with comic book movies that are coming out, why is it suddenly cool to talk about Captain America? 10 years ago, if I would have mentioned Captain America, I would have been a big dork. Now it's cool because it's live action Captain America. Why is it so different from if you just read about him in a story with pictures? What's the big deal? There's some comic book recommendation. Alright? If you're willing to sacrifice your cool points and gain your integrity. You can't even buy a bag of rice for those things. House of M. Awesome. Amazing. It's an X-Men comic. The X-Men old comic, Inferno. I read that one. Oh, so good. Let's see. Thor Ragnarok. Oh, super good. Wolverine Origin. Justice League Trinity. All-Star Batman. And of course, the incredible Death of Gwen Stacy. I've never even read Death of Gwen Stacy, and the story is just the synopsis is amazing. It's incredible. Okay, so Batman Hush, I think is pretty good. I've always been part of it. Alright, so we're back after the battery died. I was recommending a movie. The movie is on Netflix. Recently I watched it. It's called Can't Buy Love. I don't know if it's a I think it's more of a coming of age movie that's also a romance, but it doesn't follow the super typical like romance story where like it doesn't focus on the romance. I think the fact that it's focusing on the coming of age thing allows them to tell a romance that's not the same old where it's like guy meets girl, they're quirky and weird and they hate each other, but then they hit it off, you know, and then have some big misunderstanding. So she sidetracks over to a lot of times to a dependable guy. So it's like this unrealistic thing where she has like 2 dudes that she can marry at any time. What girl has that option? Anyway, and then someone at some point to end it has to be brave and like say something to the other one. It's difficult to say, or they both do somehow, and they come together. Big climactic moment, you know. And but this movie, Can't Buy Love, is largely a love story, but it's a coming of age story, and it deals heavily with the topic of this video. So I recommend watching it just to kind of get your mind wrapped around the lust of the eyes concept. And my last example is Jesus. So just think about it. Jesus could have very easily called angels to show up. Alright, now the Bible tells us that angels were not little babies like sometimes they have in art. They were horrifying, gigantic. They say it looked like a man, but they don't really know what it was. People were super freaked out and afraid. And instantaneous respect was at Jesus' fingertip at any time. So like when Satan takes Jesus up, you know, to the 3 temptations, it's really the 3 temptations we're talking about in these videos. And the one that is the lust of the eyes is it says he takes him to the top of the temple in Jerusalem and he says, jump off, because the Bible says that, you know, angels will come to catch you in case you even get hurt and went away. And he says, you know, it's you're not going to do that. Here's the thing: if he had done that, everyone would respect him. Now Jesus performed some miracles. He was making it clear that he's God incarnate. But he could have been more dramatic about it. He could have gone the extra mile to do things to blow people's minds, to like try to control what they thought about him. He left them with the option. He allowed them to make up their own mind and have the right to be wrong, even about him. And most people hated Jesus. Most people hated Jesus Christ. You know, we get a lot of the Gospels, they have stories, you know, about people who accepted Jesus, but in general, most people did not. They shouted, "Crucify him," and they were okay with the idea of killing him. He could have called down angels when he was on the cross, and everyone would have been, there would have been instant respect and bowing down. He did not do that. He just put the truth out about himself out there and let people make up their own mind. Okay? So, let's see. Philosophically, the question is it wrong to care what people think about you? No. A lot of people, they respond to this situation, they say, well, I don't care what people think. That's not the right way to think about it. It's, I'm not going to try to control what people think. Again, Jesus really sums this up well for us. He cared about what people thought. He wanted them to have the right idea. He tried his best to put the right idea out there. But it's not his fault if he gives people the truth and they don't accept it. He's not going to find some kind of way to manipulate them or make them accept him. You know, he's going to just give them an opportunity and let them make up their own mind. The Lust of the Eyes is largely about not being a Nazi, not being a manipulator, not trying to control what people think. Because as soon as you go down that road, who knows what you're going to try to do. You're going to try to set up people and manage people, and you know, I've seen people do that, and it's creepy because, like, in some cases it's people in ministry who've like taken someone when that person, you know, when he's younger, and like try to make them into a certain person, you know, but never tell the person that that's what they're doing. You know, it's different. Like if your dad says, "Son, I want you to be a hard worker," and he does things to try to turn you into that person. But it's different sometimes when people try to do that without clearly telling you that they're trying to do that, trying to control what you think, and that's creepy. Not Jesus didn't do that, so don't do that. It's just wrong. People have the wrong idea. That's their mistake. They got the wrong idea. They shouldn't have done that. And so, the salvation explanation. Now, this is the real point of making this video. Temptation is difficult. You know what Paul says is, it's like I know the good thing I ought to do, and I keep doing the wrong thing. And for me, it's a little bit hard to be sympathetic with this temptation and the pride one. Not that I don't struggle with them, but it's just my main struggle is the other one. And I'm predominantly the other one, and these two I tend to not struggle with. But it's a real temptation for a lot of people, and it's very hard for people to overcome it. You know, there's another good movie. I guess I just thought of another example. Another good movie about this is Napoleon Dynamite. If you haven't seen it, it's funny, but it's also got a really good message. And you know, in the movie, you have Napoleon, his friend Pedro, and his friend, I think her name's Tiffany. I forgot the girl's name. Trisha. Yeah. Not Trisha. No, Trisha's not. It's not Trisha. Debbie. Yeah. But their crew has no social skills. They have no ability to express themselves in such a way that people will like them. And they're surrounded by people who have social skills. But Napoleon and his crew have real skills. Like Debbie actually is a really good photographer and really good at, she's running her own business, she's got stuff together, she got it right together. Napoleon, you know, because it turns out he's a good dancer, you know, and I don't know what him and Pedro both were like really good at the FFA thing, but they're surrounded with other characters who have good social skills but no real skills. So like Uncle Pedro is a great salesman, but he's selling pointless things, but he's really good at like making you, controlling what you think and making you like him. He's amazing at it. He's able to make money selling Tupperware. You know, it's useless. And then the finale has the girls, but it's surrounded by the main girl, right? Summer Wheatley is her name. I think she's Lizzie McGuire's. Is Lizzie McGuire a real person, or is that a TV character? I don't know. It's her sister, I think. I don't really know. I'm pretty sure. But the point is in the movie, Napoleon says she's the hottest girl in school, right? So that means she's got all the cool points. And then there's other gaggle of girls around her, and they come out and they do a dance, and they do all the little things to just kind of make people like them. And they even show like the principal just like dancing to it. But the dance was really, really bad. And like if you've, for me, I've been to a lot of recitals because of my mom, you know, and it was like, wow, that was bad, you know. But they put on the dresses and they, you know, all the things, and they're the main people. We're gonna accept them. And then Napoleon comes out, and he has none of the bells and whistles, none of the social skills. He only has real skills. So he just dances really, really well, you know. But there is a tendency in life where social skills become a drug, because making people like you and being able to be liked creates a flow of dopamine, okay? Just like alcohol, just like crack cocaine. And if you are really good at it, like Uncle Rico, then you can get addicted. You know, if you're that good at it. I mean, why do you think people get addicted to Facebook? Addicted to how many likes they get? You know, it's not just about pride all the time. Sometimes people really enjoy it. So this temptation is overwhelming, overcoming, and it's hard sometimes for people to just embrace personal integrity and just be real and just sit there and just, this is me, I'm a real person, I'm not going to front any persona, I'm just, here I am, I'm me. And for once in my life, I'm going to take a break from all that. It's hard for people sometimes. So the solution is there's nothing you can do. No amount of willpower, trying hard. I mean, first of all, you do need to obviously think that it's wrong. But other than that, sometimes it's hard to do the right thing that we know we should do. And so the only way is, you know, what I've covered in that video, overcoming temptation. Jesus has to help you. That's the Christian solution. It's not about having an accountability partner and reading your Bible enough and praying enough. None of that stuff's bad. But Muslims know to do that. Everybody knows to do that. Muslims recite their Bible every day, all day. They just recite it. They got all that stuff. They got all the prayer times. They got everything. Okay? What you have that they don't have is a Savior. They deny the incarnation, crucifixion, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, and they claim that if you believe in those things, you're going straight to the pit of hell. Okay? But we have a Savior who saves us from sin, not just from hell, not just from what happens to you, but from what is coming out of you. That's what Jesus says. It's not what goes into a man that defiles a man. It's what comes out of him. You know, so if you create some world of Christian baseball leagues and Christian restaurants and Christian job and Christian church and everything, and there's no sin in it, and then you go and you're there, you brought sin with you because it's in you. You can't get it out of you by changing things around you. It has. So only Jesus can do it. So how does he do it? When does he do it? As you let him. Okay? Salvation is by grace through dia, faith. Okay? Not just salvation from hell. Salvation from sin in every way. So you're confronted with a temptation. You need to pray for help. If you're confronted with the same temptation, like we talked about, the lust of the eyes over and over again, you need to pray for help first thing in the morning. Okay? Ask God to say something to you, to do something that somehow reaches down inside you and changes you. And the power is not in the words or the thing that He does. It's in Him and what He's doing through it. It's the power of the Lord. It's the power of the crucifixion and the resurrection. The idea is that because Christ died on the cross, then the evil choices you and I have made will have been carried out to their fullest completion. So it's not that we're stopping them.